What is up, boys? It is PDS. Today I'll be showing you the deck I used to get Plat 1 this season. So last season I used Heroes. This season I went with the Zodiac, one of my favorite decks. I actually had to play this deck. I don't really like to play meta decks too often, but I had to play this deck back in the day when it came out because it was just too good. And it's still pretty damn good, so I'm going to go for the card for card. Shoutouts to Mist, of course, for the deck list. I did do some slight modifications, but it was only just for, you know, to make sure I have a really good matchup against the monkey decks. Looking at you, Eldritch. So yeah, here we go. So 3 DD Crow, really strong versus a lot of the decks. Drytron, Eldritch, really powerful hand trap if you're missing cards like Maxi, Ash Blossom. DD Crow and Skullmeister, really impactful in my opinion. Against a large variety of matchups. It's not so good against Tri Brigade. You know, DD Crow can do some work, but it's not really as good. It really shines versus Eldritch and Drytron. Same for Skullmeister, but Skullmeister is very good against Tri Brigade in my opinion. If you're playing the bird version, it's slightly less powerful because you don't stop their plays. But if you can stop, you know, Kit, when they send Kit to the graveyard and you Skullmeister it, a lot of the times that just ends their turn, because I'm sure any Tri Brigade player knows when you're sending Fractal trying to get a card, if it gets Ash or something, you know, you're basically just like, fuck, now I just have a bunch of hand traps. So really strong. And then for the other hand traps, play Maxi, of course, because it's goated, and Ash Blossom because it's goated, and then Imperm because it's goated. So you're gonna notice this a lot on this deck list. Every card is good. You know, like, there's not really a bad card in this deck. Even the shitty Zodiac cards are still Zeus. So, and then of course we play Nibiru for something to draw off of Maxi, and it's a good card. So it sucks against Eldritch, you know, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I did have games where I tribute summon for a Nibiru and I started beating in their cheeks, because, you know, that's sometimes you gotta handle business the way it has to get dealt with. So and yeah, so then the Zodiac monsters, Bunny Blast is for Sky Strikers. Basically all the Zodiac monsters give the XCs additional effects. So for instance, Bunny Blast, if a spell card would target one of your XCs monsters, you can detach a card from the XCs monster and it gets negated. So, and the XCs monsters also gain attack points and defense points based off of the whatever it's equipped on, I'm sorry, whatever is under it as material. So you know, if you have Bunny Blast and Whiptail, it'll gain 2000 and 1200 defense. So yeah. And then Whiptail is it has a quick effect to target onto a beast XYZ, which comes in handy. You can activate this in the damage step, of course. You cannot, like I said, you can't, so don't try to. Make sure you do it in the battle step. But it'll banish a card whenever it battles, whenever a Zodiac monster battles. So really nice effect. Thoroughblade on summon. Discard a Zodiac to draw a card. You don't always want to use this because a lot of the times you're usually only going to see like one Zodiac name, so you want to make sure if you have two of them, hold on to the second one just for the follow-up play. And yeah, the other effect is it does piercing, and it's 1600. So yeah, Ram probably the best one. When it gets destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one Zodiac monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And then the XYZ effect is whenever one of your XYZs gets targeted by a trap, you can detach a material to negate it. So really nice effect for you know, cards like Infinite Impermanence. There's a wide variety of cards, you know, that can target this card. So yeah, Imperm is just the main one that comes to mind. But yeah, then Harpy's Feather Duster for the monkey decks. So anything that plays a ton of back row. Monster Reborn, just because this deck doesn't have Barrage, so this is like a pseudo Barrage. If you guys don't know, Zodiac Barrage is a continuous spell. You can destroy a card in the field, special summon a Zodiac from the deck, but obviously it's not in this game. So this is the next best thing in my opinion, especially because it's really nice on the follow-up turn. When you have a Zodiac name in the graveyard, you can just continue your plays. So yeah, 2 Pot of Avarice because Zeus is at 1 and Dryden is at 1. So making use of this card is insane, especially with how many hand traps you play. You might, you know, see this card and think it's dead because, you know, you don't really play a lot of I mean, you play a lot of monsters, but you don't really do a lot with them. You know, it's just make a Zeus and that's it. But, you know, you're going to be using a lot of hand traps. You're going to be attaching a lot of materials. So this card is excellent. I would maybe even, you know, if you guys are missing some of these cards, try 3 Pot of Avarice, because the card is actually very clutch. I will say, though, you know, Called by the Grave is really is everywhere. If they Called by the Grave chain to your Pot of Avarice to banish something that you try to shuffle back in, it will make the effect resolve without an effect. It has to shuffle everything back in, so just be aware of that. Okay, next we play 3 Desires, because honestly, every card in this deck, you know, it kind of just works by itself. So like, you don't really even care if you banish, you know, like And like, as long as you see a Zodiac name, basically that's what you want. That's the only thing you want. You want to draw into a Zodiac monster. And of course hand traps, you know, to try to interrupt your opponent. But Pile of Desires is it really shines in this deck really well. So you definitely want 3 copies of it. 2 Lightning Storms just to have a good back row deck matchup. 3 Tenki to search a zoo. 2 Cobble by the Grave. Pretty self-explanatory, just good against hand traps. And then for the extra deck, we play Utopic and Utopic Draco. This card is really strong. It can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. So really hard to out. And then once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, detach material, negate it, and if it's on the field, you take control of it. And that's permanent. And it's really strong, and the way you make it in this deck is you need to have a Zodiac in the graveyard already, so ideally, and you need to have Ram. So what you do is you get Ram to the graveyard. Usually you use Chakra 9, activate the effects, Reborn, Ram. But remember, you have to have a Zodiac in the graveyard already. You can't do it, you know, you have to have something to revive. So then you bring back Ram. Then with the Chakra 9, so basically when Chakra 9 special summons a monster, it can't be used as Xyz materials. So you can't just automatically go into Utopic Future. What you do is you make Trident, and then with Trident you pop Ram, and then Ram will bring back one of your Xyz materials. So you have Trident and another Zoo Xyz, and then you go into Utopic Future and then Utopic Draco. So that would be like a follow-up turn play. Sometimes you actually have access to that turn 1, but you need to open like Thoroughblade and Ram, which is, you know, kind of asking for a lot. So don't expect to be making that turn 1. This is a go second deck, by the way, guys. You're always picking to go second. If you made it this far in the video, then congratulations, you got that extra tip. So yeah, Tiger Mortar. A lot of people don't know what the Zoo cards do because they usually just make them for Zeus. But this one, basically you attach material to reattach a Zodiac monster onto an Xyz monster. So you can even put it under Zeus if you want to. But usually what I like to do is, you know, you summon like Whiptail, you make you know, like Hammer Kong, Tiger Mortar, put back a Thoroughblade, so now your Xyz is 28. Then you got to Borbo, make him 2800 attack directly. So you can do a lot of cool stuff. Tiger Mortar is really nice also for the play where you use Chakra 9 to special summon back Trident, and then use Tiger Mortar to equip a material under Trident. So it is going to be negated that turn because of Chakra 9's effect, but it'll give access to a Trident pop on the opponent's turn. So really nice. And then next extra deck monster is Trident. Pretty simple card. Detach a material, target one face-up card in the field, destroy it. Really powerful though, honestly. A lot of decks are really dependent upon, you know, having like especially like a deck, you know, like Prank Kids. Their normal summon is extremely important for their Meow. If you can pop their normal summon, they basically just have to end their turn. So you know, really good card. And if they make you go first, you're usually gonna end on this guy. So, and if they max you, this is another guy you can go into, and it's, you know, it's an interaction, which is really nice. So yeah, so Borbo attacks directly. That's basically his purpose. Hammer Kong, he's a little bit more complicated to use. He makes it to where your Zodiac monsters cannot be targeted except for him. So basically, when you're doing that Chakra 9 combo I was talking about earlier, Chakra 9 special summon Trident, Tiger Mortar, put a material under Trident. You put Hammer Kong on top of the Tiger Mortar, so then you have an untargetable Trident, and you have your Hammer Kong. At the end phase, though, Hammer Kong does detach the material, so just keep that in mind. And then finally, we have Drill Driver Vespanato. I don't know, is this a bee or is this a wasp? I have no idea, guys. It's a machine, so it's anybody's guess, right? Any insect fans, let me know. He's really good to overlay on top of your Zeus if you run out of Zeus and Tridents. He does piercing, and then he revives a level 5 or lower monster in your graveyard. So really nice. It is a level 5 though, so just keep that in mind. And also, if you use it as, if you summon it, you cannot overlay on top of it on the same turn. So you can't do like, you know, Tiger Mortar, Hammer Kong, all of this shit, and then Vespanato and then Zeus. You cannot do that. So just keep that in mind. And then finally, we have Zeus, the boss monster. You guys should know what he does. Detach 2 materials, send everything from the field to the graveyard. Really strong. And in this deck, you can make it 6 materials Zeus on turn 2, and it's pretty devastating against a lot of decks, as you can imagine, especially versus something like Pendulum. You know, I had a game, they did activate a scale, Zeus, activate a scale, Zeus, activate a scale, Zeus, and you know, he had to concede because what are you gonna do? That's 6 cards, right? So Yeah, that is a deck list, guys. You want to go second, and you want to... Basically, this deck, all you got to do, summon a Zodiac monster, go Borbo, attack directly, make him a nice, 4 or 6 material Zeus, and then that's it. You're chilling. You got a million hand traps. That was with one card. You got a 4 material, 6 material Zeus, and then you got a lot of hand traps to interact with your opponent. So, yeah, even if they make you go first, ideally you want to pick second no matter what. If they make you go first, though, you're basically going to have a pop and then a bunch of hand traps. So, you're going to be able to stop them on their turn. So, I really like this deck. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys want a in-depth guide, I can try and show you guys how to play the deck a little bit more. But honestly, I think the deck is really nice. And I know it's kind of like, this deck has a shit ton of URs. What are you talking about? This isn't budget. But if you look at the URs, a lot of them are going to be staples that you're going to be using in other decks. So, cards like Maxi, Ash Blossom, Nibiru, Imperm, Zeus. Like, really, the extra deck is pretty cheap. And, the only extra deck card that really is, like, exclusive to this deck is... It's not really any, because if you're using, like, if you can put you can put a lot of these cards into, like, Tri-Brigade Zoo. So, just keep that in mind. And, yeah, that is going to be it for the deck profile. And I'm going to show you guys some replays now to see, just how powerful this deck is. And, yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.